3, 2, 1.
3,
2,
1. Ooh, cold.
Hey everybody. So going back on my channel back in 2018, my most successful video I ever made was putting up our pool. We had a 15-foot above ground pool that was sitting on that pad right behind me, and it served us well for 7 years. We got a lot of great use out of it, but it finally broke down. And you know what? A lot happens in 7 years. So the time has officially come to replace the pool. And you know, we went 15 feet on the last one. Why not go bigger this time? So we're actually going to be putting up a 32'x16 rectangular above ground pool. And we're gonna put it right here, where all this grass is. See, we're currently in the midst of a backyard revitalization. We just rebuilt our deck because it was falling down and it was rotten. We're gonna be putting up a pergola right here, reorganizing all of our stuff down here, rebuilding the retaining wall back there. But today, it's about the pool. So how do we even go about tackling this? Well, it's a couple-step process. It sounds easy. First things first, I've got a sod cutter that I rented. We're gonna cut up all this grass right here. And we're gonna make a very large pool pad. That's step one. Step two is all this dirt that we brought in right here, which my lovely husky has been digging her way through. We're gonna use this to level out this area right here so that the pool has a nice level pad to live on. And then step three, construct the pool. Should be easy, right? So here's a better visualization from on top of our deck here. The new pool pad is going to extend from here. It's gonna go out all the way up past here, all the way down here, big rectangle. And it's gonna end probably about right here. So this whole area right here will be pool pad. Now you see the railroad ties back there. I brought those in to frame the pool pad to make a little bit of a retaining wall on that side. And on that side, so we have some definition to it. We're gonna put some gravel right here, put a little fire pit right in the middle. We have a pergola we're gonna build right over here. It should be nice. It'll be a very busy day. So step one, we're gonna put this GoPro on time lapse so you can watch us working. We're gonna clean up the pad and we are going to start cutting the sod. It's a monumental task. It's gonna be a huge job we're gonna do today, but thankfully I've got some young men helping me today. My stepsons and a couple of their buddies are coming over, so more hands make for less work. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get swimming. Don't burn the house down. What? Whoa! Ah! First things first, we had to get all of the old framing up from around the perimeter of the old pool. So you can see us pulling that stuff out. And then you'll start to see me use the sod cutter. Now, if you've never used a sod cutter, it's actually very, very hard to control. It's like a self-propelled lawnmower on steroids. But it's a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. So definitely get yourself some 20-something guys to come over and help you roll that sod up because it is a lot. As we continue to cut, we continue to pile, we keep moving it. You can see the guys moving to the upper left portion of the screen there. We're taking all the sod from what we're cutting here and we're actually putting it into an old garden area that we're not using anymore, so we wanted to make sure that was grassed over and looking nice. So we repurposed all this grass and put it back in the corner. All right, so we're taking a little bit of a break here, but it's coming along. So far, we've got the biggest area cut up here. We're almost done cutting the rest of the sod out. And we'll move on to leveling, realizing that we're gonna need substantially more dirt than what we currently have, but we'll figure that out. Back in the corner there was that big open space. I don't know if you remember that, but it looks great with the new sod on top of it. We just basically took that square and put it back there. And then the rest of it, we've got going in the corner back there. We've got an open spot. And Carter's wrestling the dog. Boys are starting to move dirt. I'm gonna finish cutting the sod over here. We've got the railroad ties laid out for the perimeter. Now we have a lot of dirt work to do to level off the pad. This is gonna be the biggest part. Just a lot more dirt moving here, going from right to left and trying to level out this pad. As you'll see here in a few minutes, we realized that we definitely bit off more than we could chew moving this dirt, as it was very, very unlevel going from the near side to the far side. So it took substantially more dirt than what we had here. Well, it is officially the end of the day. We work on this for 8 hours.
Yep.
Yeah,
8
there's
hours.
Dustin.
8, yep.
But we do have the pad clear. We have it lined. We have landscape timbers in here. We brought a whole bunch of rock in here. So that is the pool pad. Now what we've run into is the leveling. It is proving to be a lot. So we are checking our resources to see if we can get somebody with a bobcat to come in here and help level this off. We did a lot of work getting the dirt moved around, but there's still just a substantial difference between right where the old pool was and over here. I mean, it's legitimately about a foot difference. And to move that amount of dirt, or to bring in that amount of dirt to level this off, is gonna be a lot. So we are calling it for the end of day one, and we are gonna ask a couple friends for some bobcat work to get day 2 going. So I'm gonna go put my feet up and we'll catch you tomorrow. So I'm not too afraid to admit when I'm over my head. But I also know that we've got people that we can call who can show up with a skid steer when we need it. So one of Dustin's good friends works at a place, has access to one of those, and he said, hey, this leveling is gonna be a lot, can you come help? And he said, sure. So here we go, we're leveling the pad. So a real big shout out to Dustin's friend Alec here. Alec, if you're watching this, man, you saved our bacon more than you know. He's obviously fighting the pad, he's dragging back and forth, he's doing his best to level it out, bringing dirt from one end to the other end, just being an absolute unit getting this thing done. It's not shown here, but Alec actually made 2 trips to come help us out. The second time that he was here, we had a lot more dirt. We had 5 yards of dirt delivered to the front of the house because he realized that we're still gonna need more dirt. And then if we try to dig down on one end to match the other end, we're gonna have a significant grade problem with our backyard right there. So we didn't show that part, but we did bring in 5 more cubic yards of dirt, which Alec hauled to the backyard and was able to finish leveling out the pad. So he did great work for us. All right, so the day has come that we're actually ready to put the pool up. Now, we've got some extra hands here. First and foremost, Emma. Woo! Carter's unloading some bricks, and Lillian's just playing with the neighbor kids. But I probably should have showed you this box first. This is the actual pool box. It is huge, but I've already cut it open to reveal there are 2 smaller boxes inside. We're gonna haul these things to the backyard and get setting up. Now the pad looks really good. We did have to bring in more dirt as we were digging down. We realized that we just didn't have enough dirt to level it off appropriately. So we brought in some more dirt. Alec came back with his skid loader, helped us level it out. and it is pretty level. It's not 100%, and we're gonna have to rake it out as the dogs have been playing in the dirt, obviously, but it's pretty good. And we've got the 12-inch by 12-inch patio pavers over here that we're going to be putting underneath the legs of the pool. So let's get this thing going. Oh yeah, and here's the update of the patio, by the way. We got the rock all done. Fire pit's gonna go right here in the middle. There's Thor. Pergola's up. There's Rika. Deck is up. Ready for the pool. Let's get setting up, shall we? So step one was to lay out the ground tarp, which we did there. And next is to put down the liner, then we'll start constructing the poles. Time to go into some time-lapse mode. So first thing we did was lay out the tarp liner on the ground to make sure we had that nice and flat. Then we spread the actual pool liner itself out. We very quickly realized that we had it on the wrong side. The ports for the pump and everything were on the far side. We needed them to be on the front side. So we just picked up the tarp liner and moved the whole thing half a turn. From there, it's pretty difficult to get the frame into the pool liner itself. You basically have to start on one end. The pieces are labeled A, B, C, D, E, or something like that. You have to put the A on one end, a bunch of B's, and then a C on the other end. It's not terribly difficult, so I didn't go through step by step. The problem is the execution itself is actually pretty hard to do. The friction in the liner makes it pretty difficult to slide those poles in, especially because you have to start on one end and shove it all the way to the other end. Now, if you find a better way to do this, please tag me or leave me a comment. We struggled with this pretty mightily. But by the end, what we found the easiest way to do was to have Carter holding up one side and making sure that the path ahead was perfectly straight, while Emma and I were on the other end and basically just shoving that pole in. Eventually we got him in, then we put the legs together. Again, if you follow the directions, they're pretty straightforward. It's just difficult, but the task itself is not hard. Just pulling it off is difficult. After that, it was making sure that the legs were level, the sides were level, and then start filling the pool. All right, so you saw the struggle. I talked our way through it. Got her up. This is not a one-person job. It's not a two-person job. Heck, I wouldn't even say it's a three-person job. I would highly recommend 4 people for this. That being said, the instructions are very simple. On the main walls, you have an A, a bunch of B's, and then a C. Same thing on the other side. And then on the ends, you have a D, a bunch of E's, and an F. It's pretty simple. They snap into the bottom side of the frame right here. The legs go through these little hoops like so, and then you take these little black rods and weave them through here, through the liner, and then through here again. And that's how the legs stay attached to the pool. So fairly straightforward. I can tell you by filling it right now, we're definitely gonna have a little bit of a low side over here, because that's where the water's pooling up first. But it didn't take long for the water to move that way, which is a good sign that we're not terribly off level. Although this corner down here looks to be the high side, given where the water's pooling. But we knew that coming into it. The water is starting to accumulate here, so we're gonna have a little bit of a difference between the sides, but with a pool this big, there's gonna be some margin of error. So, all right, so the pool is officially set up. Oh, I think. Got the filter set up. This is the outlet. This little nozzle here screws on. The pump is the out. The in is a combination of these 2 inlets going into that T, which goes into here. I didn't show this step by step because, quite frankly, just read the directions. It's not hard. Just follow the ins and the outs. But aside from that, she's filling up as we speak. Take a couple of days, I'm thinking, but she's going along. I will check back in a couple days. We're supposed to get some rain. It's gonna be a rainy couple days, so I will check in and show you what she looks like once she gets all the water in it. All right, we are filling up again. I shut the water off overnight, just in the event something went sideways. I didn't want it to collapse while I was sleeping. These walls look really terrible as it's starting to fill, but from what I've read online, that's normal, and they will push out as it gets full. But you can definitely tell there's some huge sagging in both the main walls. And it is raining, so that'll help fill it up. I'd say we're about, maybe a third full. Maybe between a third and a half full. walls are basically laying down. But they'll come up, allegedly. Stay tuned. All right, we are just shutting off the water after about 21 hours of running 2 hoses.
How much, 11?
21 hours. There's the wife. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
About 21 hours of running 2 hoses. And I think she's good. She's full. We definitely got a little bit of rain today as well. Probably about 1/4 of an inch of rain, which didn't hurt. The walls are still a little bowed here. I think that's by design. This one's a little wavy here. But I think these feet are gonna pop out a little bit as well as it starts to wiggle. That's what I've seen online at least. As we get to swimming in it, it'll start to move. This one as well, so. Level on it looks pretty good, but I'm sure those legs will probably pop out as we start wiggling around a bit, and all in all, she's good to go. Pump is running. I did have one small leak at the junction box right here, but it was actually just the O-ring was not seated properly, so I took it off, reseated the O-ring, and it was good to go. All right, so the pool is up and running after what seems like weeks of rain. Lily, how's it feel?
It feels warm, but I just got out, so it's kind of cold.
Kind of cold? Emma's still rocking. Lily, what about you, Pumpkin?
I don't know.
Okay, good enough. As is with my channel, I will obviously jump on any grenades and tell you where I screwed this up. First and foremost, you can see how this wall is bowed in. From what I found out, that means I did not level these pavers very well, which I know I didn't. The whole point was to bring these legs up a little bit. So the walls are a little bit curved where the pavers are pushing in. Same with this one, but I don't really care. I don't think it's gonna affect anything aside from the look. It definitely takes a while to heat up. These ones are the exact opposite. They're kind of pushing out because these legs kind of sunk in. We didn't use pavers on this side because this was the high side. So probably should have done that. But otherwise, she is rocking. She is swimming. The girls are having fun. It's a little bit chilly still. We've had weeks of rain, but the pump is working great. I don't have it on right now because we have other things running, but yeah. All in all, she's good. Last thing to do is some landscaping. We're gonna drop some fabric down here and probably run some mulch or some rock just around the corner here to hide all the dirt, but otherwise, she's great. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions about the Intex 16 by 32 pool, don't hesitate to drop me a comment or shoot me an email. As always, I try to reply to everything that anybody asks on here. And you know what? Like I said, we learned some lessons along the way. But all in all, she's working out pretty well. So thanks for watching and enjoy your summer.